So, The Song of Achilles. It's a novel written by Madeline Miller. She's a graduate of both Latin and ancient Greek and has taught in both languages. So, she's also studied in drama at Yale University, specializing in adapting classical tales. The Song of Achilles is her first novel and is an iteration of the classic tale of Achilles. The novel follows the perspective of Patroclus, a very close friend of Achilles, and the story is centered around their relationship. So Patroclus is this boy burdened with this rigid demands of noble masculinity, while he's frail and gentle. And Achilles carries the weight of being both the son of a great hero and the sea goddess Thetis. So basically, Patroclus is the one at the bottom, and Achilles is the one above all. And somehow, some way, they're both equal in alienation. They're both alienated by society for being, well, how do you put this? Due to the standards that's put on them and the expectations. See, like Patroclus is supposed to be this noble that's supposed to inherit a kingdom, but instead he's not what they expect. And Achilles is this demigod that everyone reveres, and so no one really is there to be his friend, more so just to be there as a connection, you know. Sort of like modern society when there's this person that's very involved in politics or someone that holds great power in the world of politics. There's these leeches, people that leech off of them so that they can gain power as well. It's something like that. And in this story, their love for one another becomes the resistance to the roles that's imposed by lineage, divinity, and tradition. And yeah, this novel is basically a critique of patriarchy and religion. So by technicality, this novel is very feminist. Even though it revolves around two boys. So Patroclus grows up under pressure of like aristocratic responsibilities, and as a prince, he is expected to be strong, commanding, and warlike, or manly, as some people may put it. Yet his frail form, his frail body, and gentle nature make him an outsider in his own world. His exile solidifies his identity as someone who fails to meet society's expectations of manhood. Kind of how people like in this modern world, sometimes there are people that still look down on men that are built like how traditional masculinity depicts them, and it causes them to be ostracized. While Achilles, son of a goddess and one of the most revered mortal heroes, he's expected to transcend both mortals and his humanity. So revered by many as being of great power, someone of high nobility, he's surrounded, but he's always alone, always seen and perceived on a pedestal. Sort of like how people look at celebrities or influencers. Somehow people never really care to make connections with them, just to see them or form some sort of alliance with them would be enough, because some people only care about power, not the responsive and not the person. So both Patroclus and Achilles, their love for one another emerges as a space where both can escape alienation and expectation. However, their bond in opposition to the will of Thetis, the sea goddess, who views Patroclus as an obstacle to Achilles' transcendence to godhood. During the Battle of Troy, this tension intensifies as Patroclus continues to act according to compassion, something very well against the tides of your typical masculine depictions. He did this in opposed to heroic ambitions. And yeah, it's like saying, it's like the representation of going against what the expectations of what a man should do, or what a man should strive for, or what a man should be. Yeah, because from birth, most men are taught to be strong or bring honor to the family, like, or bring home a legacy, chase that pedestal. But Patroclus, he doesn't act in that pride or greed or gluttony. Instead, he acts with compassion, and that's a very nice touch from Madison. So, the novel excels in portraying how both characters struggle under inherited expectations. And one is born innate of all the talents that it requires, and one is born without anything. And both of them, they meet in the middle. Achilles within the confines of prophecy, and Patroclus exiled and rejected by society. Patroclus, gentle and frail, representing those marginalized by the systems that equate worth with strength, like I said earlier. While Achilles is put on a pedestal like a muse, in which he cannot afford to look down, because if he does, his mother or his father would be disappointed in him. And, in some kind of beautiful manner, Patroclus initially was very mesmerized by Achilles' beauty and his charisma and how he put himself out there. as if Achilles served as a muse to Patroclus, and I think that's kind of beautiful. I suppose it's not. It's pretty much a part of the book at this point. Their queer relationship challenges multiple hierarchies, divine authority, heroic legacy, and heteroromantic norms, similar to how it does in real life. But in this case, divine authority is the mother of Achilles, the sea goddess. But in reality, It's religion, and yeah, and conservative values. The disapproval of Thetis, yeah. Their love was a rebellion. It's liberty from conservative structures that attempt to dictate identity. Importantly, as even though Patroclus is ostracized for being, quote unquote weak, um, his compassion is strength itself. His final act, driven by empathy, devoid of the desire for glory, is suggesting that strength comes from character, from within, rather than the masculine ideals. And reading this, I thought back of the movie that's based on a real story, Hacksaw Ridge, where a soldier who refused to wield the gun was ostracized, was bullied by their fellow soldiers. But he saved about 70 lives, I believe. I forgot. But and that heroic act of Patroclus really reminded me of that. That it wasn't about what he'll be recognized for, but rather what he can do for those people. And that's beautiful, man. Like, it's like how people would usually suggest that the man should be, prideful, like boastful. And that's usually just how traditional masculinity goes. But not a lot of people really talk about how they can help other people. And I love how Patroclus is written. And the Song of Achilles shows that it shows the burden of conservative systems and the weight of expectations. Though both Patroclus and Achilles, through both Patroclus and Achilles, Madeline Miller dismantles the traditional man and reestablishes it with an iteration of the glorious heroes during the Battle of Troy. Love defied gods, legacy, and society. The story rather opts to say that we should rebel against established paths and we should instead go for the authenticity of our human spirit. That's cool. Is my love, is mine, oh mine. I love mine. Nothing in the world belongs to me but my love, mine, oh mine, oh mine. Yeah, and I guess it's not just like the Song of Achilles isn't just another gay story. It's more so about how men shouldn't be expected to be this strong and manly, this conservative ideals. It's more harmful than it is helpful. And that's all. Thank you. Goodbye.